Good evening, Third Home members.
Welcome to this Third Home webinar this evening.
Thanks everyone for being here. It is June 25th. This is our 6 p.m. Central session for the webinar. We had one this morning, it had almost 1,000 people on it. This also is very well attended. One of the biggest webinars we've ever had. And we hope, we're glad you're here. My name is Dan Cranny. I'm Senior Vice President of Growth. Phil Galuppi is Manager of Growth, and Janine Parker is Director of Resort Partnerships. And thank you for being here. To start, I want to say that one point is we are the largest upscale travel club in the world, and we think that's exciting. Every month, our members add over 2,000 new weeks into the system for us to look at and to book. And compared to other home exchanges out there, we have more existing inventory that you can book with a click of the button if you have keys in your account than all of the other ones combined. So that said, there's a couple things that I want to do to start here. Phil and Janine, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Not too bad, not too bad.
I'm going to do a quick poll here, if no one minds, about if you are a standalone member with a second home or you own at a resort. Let me launch that. Janine, can you talk everyone through the difference between the different kind of member you can be inside of Third Home to start?
Sure, happy to. So as the name implies, a standalone is a freestanding home that a member owns. They have access to all 52 weeks a year in that property. And then if you own at an affiliate resort, you own a fraction of time at that resort, and you can put 1 to 2 weeks in per year, or more if you'd like, if you want.
Yeah, about how many resorts do we work with at Third Home?
Oh gosh, we work with over 100 fabulous resorts.
Fantastic. Let me close that.
Yes.
There's also note that during this call, Phil is going to monitor that you can ask questions. However, we have too many people and we will not get to many, if any, questions on the call. We will look at them, and Phil, if you see any common questions asked over and over again, we can get to those. What I do want to ask though, I want to do a little fun. I'm going to give away this Third Home hat for the person attending from the most exotic location. For us, we're all sitting here in the southeast US, Janine, Phil, and I. So wherever if you're joining us from some lodge in the Patagonia or on the outward coast of Perth or somewhere fun, put in the chat box, and what we consider, I'll make Phil and Janine the judges, and they decide who gets the hat, and we'll send it out. So feel free to put that in there. Another comment I want to say before, as the largest upscale home exchange travel community, you know, Janine, Phil, and I, we love to travel. We love our members. We love that we're growing so much every month. And it's a kind of exciting, it's a privilege to kind of be part of this. I always tell the story. I had a brother who passed away about 3 years ago. And at the funeral, you know, you talk about all the memories are from trips we took. And it's the point we like to think about when we think about, as we're trying to travel, is that it's not the places you go, it's the people you go with, it's the memories you make. And Third Home is such a great platform to make that happen for our members. So that's exciting to me. And thanks for being here, and let's get started. Phil, anything you want to say as we get started and look at our browsing around here?
Yeah, I would say just looking at some of the great places people are right now, we've got places as far as Brazil, some just right down the road. Looks like a couple people in Australia tuning in, everywhere. So thank you guys for coming, and we'll jump right into it here. Yeah. Right here, what Dan is looking at on our home screen is our member activity tab. this is a cool little thing that you can look at just anytime you're on the site. This is showing everywhere that's been booked recently, everywhere that a member left a review at. So this is just, you can see all the great places that people are booking minute by minute.
And Phil, I just want to say there's brand new members on this call. There's members that have been around for 10 years since this started in 2010. And in fact, we have some members that have almost booked how many trips? We're almost up to, so one member's booked almost 100 trips with us.
Yeah.
So what we want to do, this is proof. Every month, when we calculate how many trips are booked and how much rental fees we save, it's around $5 million of rental fees that we save. So if you have any doubts that this works, it works. But we're glad you're here because there's some things you need to know to make it work for you. So where I want to start, where it starts, and the most important thing that we can leave you is how to search. Yes.
Yeah, I forgot to add the kind of the most exciting thing about this call. That's my bad, people. But everyone on this call, due to attending and staying on here with us, you are going to earn a bonus key for your ThirdHome account. That being said, that key will expire on September 30th. You just need to book something by that date with that key. The actual dates of travel could be later, but that one bonus key can be added with all your other keys that you might already have in your account. So yeah, by attending this, you're going to get a bonus key. It's going to be a couple business days before we get them all into everyone's account, just based on attendance size here. But that is our little gift to you guys for attending this webinar.
Thank you for being here. Phil, explain really quickly, how long do keys normally last for when people add a week in, they get keys? How long does a normal key last for?
Yes, good question. Keys normally last 24 months based on the week that you put in. So for example, if I put in January 1st, 2026 at my property, those keys would not expire until January 1st, 2028. So they last 24 months based off the week that you add.
Gotcha. So you have a bonus key from being here that you just need to book a trip before the end of September, and you can travel anytime out into the future. It's a good point. Okay, Phil, let's start here. To get to the really critical points of you've worked with thousands of members. What are the key points that you want to explain to people to optimize your membership and book places to stay?
All right, yeah, so right here is on the browse page. And one of the things that I always like to tell to members is having an open mind to where you might want to go or when you want to go somewhere is a key feature to ThirdHome. That is because we're not like a traditional rental platform like an Airbnb or a hotels.com. That being said, plugging in a location like Destin, Florida right now, Dan, we're going to see tons of great availability, and you can browse the dates that are currently available right there by making sure in this view that checkbox is clicked. So on this page right here, Dan is scrolling over all the property cards of places around Destin. Hovering over the little calendar icon right there is going to show the date that is available and the key price. And then another great way to view while searching at the top is changing from properties to availability. That difference is that by switching to availability, you're going to see everything week by week rather than individual property cards. So this is now, I'm not sure if that was chronological, but this is now showing the exact weeks. So it looks like some places were already booked today, Dan, because we did have some
booked today. Yeah, we had a lot of people this morning. I'm seeing a lot of these places are gone. So the next one available is September 21st. So note to use your key sooner than later. People are seeing these great weeks and they're going. And just to scroll down here, Phil, I'm just looking here. So there's I typed in Destin. It looks like there's a couple pages of Destin in the surrounding area, and we've got 24, we've got about 40, 45 weeks available right now in that part of the world.
Yeah,
That's
so another thing that is exciting to do in searching is you don't always need to search for a destination. If you know that you want to travel on a specific date, like a birthday, an anniversary, a spring break, you can search by dates only. So Dan, why don't you plug in the date area there? How about you plug in your kids' spring break for next spring, and we can start looking at some of the great stuff that is already available for next spring.
Okay, my kids' spring break is third week in March 2026, the 18th to the 20th. And there they are. Here's all the weeks that popped up.
Now, how come you only put 3 nights in there, Dan?
Well, if you put the whole thing, what happens is the system comes back. And so if I put in the last Saturday, a check-in day will happen on the very end of it, and that won't include my kids' spring break. So I just pull in a couple dates right there because I know that's the core of when they're available off school.
That's a good tip. That's a
Yeah,
good
and what
tip.
Dan means by that is right now, like, so he did put the 18th to the 20th in, and this first place that popped up, the 9 Key Mammoth Lake place, that date is the 12th to the 19th, but it's showing because it does overlap a little with Dan's preferred dates.
Might just have to get them out of school a couple days early, you know? That's just what I have to do. I do like this feature though. So on March 18th to 20th, I can look at this map. Do you see the map still on my screen there, guys?
Yep.
And then I can kind of say, all right, where do I want to take my kids? Janine, you've made some good points in the past about being flexible, like say you want to go skiing, but being flexible about where to go skiing and things like that. Want to talk about?
I mean, that's what I would say. Think about the kind of trip you're wanting to book. Like if you're wanting to book a ski trip, it doesn't always have to be Vail necessarily. Obviously, Deer Valley, Canada, Tahoe, a lot of other places. So again, if you're searching by dates, you'll get a lot more locations in your return.
Got it. Okay, well, so those are the main points about browsing. Anything, we'll come back to that, but Phil and Janine, any quick points you want to make before we move on to calendar and adding weeks?
The only part that I would add before we move on is this new feature we added recently, close to home. If you have your primary address on your account, you can click the host close to home button, and what it's going to do is just give you a pretty broad search of places that are considered driving distance to where you're at.
Yeah,
this feature is great for just looking around the area, looking to get to somewhere. And 99% of stays on ThirdHome are posted full weeks, but even if you book the full week, you don't need to stay the 7 days.
Yeah, I feel that's a great point. When I sometimes can't stay the full 7 days, flights don't work out, I'll stay 5 or 6 days. It's still the best deal. And I tell the owner, the host, hey, I'm just checking out a couple days earlier, checking in a couple days late. Happens all the time. It's a really good point.
Yeah.
Guys, one thing I wanted to do is just go over, here's the quick thing. So we just covered search tips. We're going to cover your calendar and adding weeks. We're going to cover safe searches. We're going to cover keyless stays and then booking a stay. So I wanted to show that so everyone has some reference point. We're going to try to keep this for just we're going to keep this nice, short, and tight, and keep moving on our evening. Okay, so there we go. So let's talk about our calendars now. Janine, you mentioned at the first of the call the difference between a standalone member and an affiliate resort member. Maybe start by, let's look at a resort. Here's my account as if I was an owner at the St. Thomas Ritz-Carlton Club. And let's talk us through how you would add a week and how that process goes.
Sure. So since it's a resort, they will have designated check-in, check-out dates for each unit. And for the majority of our resort partners, you'll contact the resort, you'll reserve a week as if you were going to stay there yourself. And then once you get confirmation of that reservation, you'll add that week to ThirdHome. And you see this nice tidy list. It tells you how many keys you can earn, what season it's in, and if you'll get your keys up front or not. So this is a nice, neat way to
Explain
decide
that a
what.
little bit about upfront as far as just the timing goes, getting your keys up front.
Sure. So for our resort members, they if they add their week and it's not during an off-season period, if they add that week more than 60 days out from arrival, they'll earn those keys up front.
Got
If
it.
it's inside 60 days or during an off-season period, they'll only earn the keys if it's booked by another member.
Okay, Janine, take us through what if you have a standalone home and you own the home outright.
Sure. So if you own the home, you can dictate the check-in, check-out dates and what dates you'd like to add to the club. As you can see on the calendar, the colors of the days designate the seasonality of the week and will tell you how many keys you will earn. You can see that off to the side as well. But yes, as a standalone owner, you can do Thursday to Thursday or what have you.
Wonderful. Okay. Anything, Phil, you want to add to this?
Yeah, I would say, Dan, why don't you go ahead and select an off-season week?
Okay. Like here.
So
Okay.
if a week is not going to earn you keys up front, there is this quick pop-up that shows up and it's going to tell you why that's not going to get you those keys right away. That's going to be, like Janine said, one of two reasons. It is not far enough out or it's considered the off season. If you went ahead and added this anyways, there's also going to be one more little place that you can recognize that you're not going to earn those keys until it is reserved by another member. The little asterisk next to the key value on the week selection.
You will not earn upfront keys for this week. You'll earn keys once it's booked. Okay. Janine, since we have so many new members on this call, the question comes up a lot, when can you start using your keys? Do you need to wait till someone books your resort week or your home week? What do you need to wait?
No, absolutely not. As soon as those keys are in your account, you can start booking them.
Gotcha.
And I do want to make sure, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but most of our resort partners, you'll work with the resort and secure your week. We do have a handful of resorts like Solaz and Grand Solmar, Pacific Dunes, where they manage the deposits. So you'll work directly with them. But it's always a good idea to check with your home resort as to the process.
Got it. Let's transition to the next topic about your dashboard. Phil, what are the critical parts when someone goes to their dashboard and they remember, what do you want them to see to understand how to operate within ThirdHome?
Yeah, the dashboard here is kind of your map to the rest of the ThirdHome site. So under Dan's profile picture, he has 13 keys right now. You can click that on your own personal dashboards to see when your keys expire, what you've used them on. So just always clicking into there, making sure you're not ever going to let keys expire. And then on the left-hand side more, that is where you can browse your saved searches, which we will get to in a moment here. You can look at weeks that you've added at your own home. You can look at your reservations that you currently have. And then there's just basic manage account stuff like your password and credit card on file under the manage account area.
Why don't you go into let's talk about this keyless feature here.
Yeah, keyless feature is one of the best benefits of the club, if not the best.
For sure.
These are weeks that are currently available within 60 days of the arrival date that have not been booked yet. With keyless stays, you can book these places for 0 keys and only pay the exchange fee. And that button is available right on your browse page as well to always just click into, and it will show you everything that's keyless. And then the best way to kind of know when something's keyless is, you'll be looking at a property card and it will have 0 keys and tell you the original value. This is where you can get some great deals where you're paying no keys out of your pocket, only paying the exchange fee. And some of these places would rent for $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a week.
Yeah, we have we have scores of example of people getting $10,000, $20,000 weeks in keyless.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing to keep your eye on. There's one in, where's this? This is in New Zealand. That's a keyless week. You could book this. They'll maybe talk through some of these features here about, you know, say you wanted to book this place in New Zealand.
Yeah, so say this place did work for you, great beach property in New Zealand. And so you would look at the available dates there. Every page is going to have a property description, bedroom count, everything like that. If they do have available dates, they'll be posted right there. The keyless little icon there will tell you that it's keyless. It's within 60 days of arrival. It's going to tell you the original key price, and then it's going to tell you the exchange fee that you're responsible for. Additionally, you can also put it on a hold if you want to kind of get with your friends, family, see if it would work for you guys. The holds cost $100, and if you do go through with that reservation within that 24-hour period, that $100 will be applied to the exchange fee as well. But if that is important to note, if you book the hold but then don't go through with the reservation, the $100 is not refundable.
This is important, you know, everybody, that when some weeks that come in, and Phil, you're probably looking, look on that chat to see where people are joining us from, but when we get a weekend from Greece or a ski week over President's Day weekend in Aspen, Janine, how fast does it go? I mean,
Fast.
it goes fast. And so it's a great thing to make sure you have enough keys in your account. Find your calendar and find weeks to add into the system so you have enough keys to book those at a moment's notice. And again, one of the best ways to find that, one thing I want to go back to, everybody, is saved searches. We didn't cover that in detail yet. We've skipped saved searches, but maybe we can cover that a little bit better. Phil, maybe give an example of what that does.
Yeah, one thing I was just going to add to the keyless opportunities that I'm just browsing the chat here quick. Not everything within 60 days is going to be keyless. There's a ton of examples where something might not qualify for keyless, even though it is within 60 days. So that being said, stuff that is keyless will have that keyless icon to it.
Got it.
But save searches, yeah, this is the most important tool for members to get the most out of the club. Adding a save search is basically, think of it as like a notification for any kind of availability from any website that you might shop at. Save searches will alert you based on a location, date, or both date and location when something new is added. And because of how fast weeks do go here at ThirdHome, it's so important to stay on top of availability that you're looking for. So Dan, let's start with somewhere like Breckenridge.
Okay.
So what Dan could do is say he knows he wants to go to Breckenridge. He doesn't particularly care what time he goes. He just knows he wants to get out there. And Dan's got, say, 3 bedrooms he needs to account for with his family. What Dan can do is put that search in. He can look at the availability. There might be stuff that works for him, there might not be. But what he can do in the meantime is add save search at the top there. And then that is going to notify him anytime now something in Breckenridge is added that's at least 3 bedrooms.
Remember everybody, over 2,000 weeks are added every month. So what you see today is not what you'll see tomorrow in a few weeks. And so save search is the best way to let the system work for you and look for things that you may be looking for, so you're not checking back every 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Save search is a game changer once you figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes. What Dan could also do right now too is, if he knows that he wants to go to Breckenridge in February to ski, he could add you know, the exact week he might want to go. He could add an entire month that he knows he wants to go. But right now, Dan's going to add Valentine's Day, President's Day weekend. Right now, there is nothing currently on the site with that exact availability. But by adding Save Search, the moment something is added, February 14th through the 16th in Breckenridge, at least 3 bedrooms, Dan is getting notified right to his email or text if you have it set up.
Wonderful. Janine, anything to add to that? Maybe we go through another, we have about 5 minutes left, another example of something to
No,
look
I
for.
just to echo what Phil was saying, I mean, I just think the most engaged members are the happiest members. You know, getting those safe searches in is really key.
Yeah. I'll also say this, a really good rule of thumb, and let me go back to this thing. The top search tips is, number one is to be flexible, location dates. The more flexible you are, the better it's going to work for you. If you're waiting to become a member of the club because you have to get a 5-bedroom place in Maui over the 4th of July, I'm going to be really honest that it may not be a perfect fit for you. But if you're open and flexible, again, we have members that have made dozens and dozens and so happy with the club if you can do that. So that's one, be flexible. Number two, save searches, what with the example we just shown. Number three is the one I love the most about book, you know, don't pigeonhole yourself to go to where you exactly want to go to. Janine gave a good example. Say you want to go skiing. Does it have to be Colorado? Can it be Canada, Tahoe, other places, and be open to that of what is available and take a chance. You know, we have some incredible houses in the Smoky Mountains you've never been to, places in Wisconsin or Lake Michigan. You know, yeah, a lot of people want to go to Greece and Aspen, but go somewhere new. Maybe go to a place where there's not a lot of tourists around. Be open to it. And then the final thing here, the fourth thing that I put on this slide is add weeks to have keys in your account. It happens all the time where someone sees this beautiful week they want to book and they didn't have keys in their account. And so they fumble around, they call Phil up and they go, I need to get some keys, and they have the weekend, and by the time that's gone. Now you can put it on hold would be our recommendation. But best idea is to get weeks deposited into the system so you have keys and ready to spin those keys when things come along. Okay. What am I missing, guys? What do you want to? What did we miss to
let's run through just doing a quick checkout of a property. How about we go to any of those dates right there would work for the example.
Let's go to New Zealand again. How about that?
Great idea.
Anybody? Did you see the chat? Anybody joining us from New Zealand?
Yeah.
There actually were a couple New Zealand folks. So hello to everyone down under.
Yes, g'day.
All right, here we go, Phil.
Brisbane.
Talk through.
Yeah, so right here, this is, like I mentioned before, the available dates that this home has right now. What you're going to see is the key value, and then what you're going to see next to that is the associated exchange fee. These are all 8 key weeks, and that associated exchange fee is $11.95. Let's say Dan is ready to go for the December 4th week. He doesn't need to place a hold. He knows he's going to book it. He can reserve now. It's going to kind of give him an overview of when that date is, how many keys it is, what he owes. The next thing to know here is if he places the reservation, this is going to give you kind of like a quick terms and conditions agreement. One thing that is very important to booking a reservation is not making the travel arrangements until after you have had a conversation with the host. That is just to ensure that both the guest and host are on the same page with the reservation, just double confirming that the dates work for everyone, and then just making sure both parties are on the same page, basically. And that goes for the host as well. You guys, as the hosts, when someone does book your home, will get an email saying, Janine booked your home. Please contact Janine as soon as you can. So getting in touch, both the guest to the host and the host to the guest right after a reservation is crucial. That just puts both parties at ease, and it's going to make your experience with that reservation a lot simpler.
Wonderful. Yep. Don't book your flights to down under, down to New Zealand until you just hear from the host and everything's good to go. Go from there. Okay. We are right at about 30 minutes and we can close this down. Janine, any last points that you'd want to make on this?
No, I just thank everybody for their time this evening, and I hope that you found this beneficial, and we answered some of your questions, and time to start traveling.
Yeah, let's do it. And Phil, you look through there. Is there
Yeah.
anything stand out to you of exotic places where people are coming in from?
Yes, there's a lot of exotic places. Let me just finish my my last couple of words here. So right here in front of you guys is our pretty much standard member experience help email. Write this down, jot down the phone number as well. We are always there for you guys to answer questions. We'll get you in touch with your personal member experience associate. Those guys are eager to help you just as much too. There's a ton of questions in this chat right now. I've been trying to get to as many as I can. I can't get to all of them, but you guys have some great questions. Please email those questions right to memberexperience@thirdhome.com. We want to get to them. We want to make sure your guys' accounts are set up the way that's going to work for you.
Yeah.
But you guys have been great so far. Thank you for coming. I'm going to say the most, let me get back to the top here.
And Phil, while you're looking there, it's remember we'll get one key into your account, hoping about the next 5 days. Well, just give us just a few days. There's just been a lot of people that have joined, so it should be in there by midweek next week, and then you have to use it until the end of September, and you can book anytime with it into the future.
I'm gonna say the most exotic place is honestly a person joining us from a volcano right now in Hawaii.
No way. No way.
They said volcano Hawaii near Kailua volcano.
That's amazing.
Powder Hill.
Awesome.
We're gonna write down that name, and we'll get in touch with you to get you that hat.
We will get you the hat from a volcano. I love it. We love it.
Yeah,
all right.
Awesome.
Thanks for being
thank
here.
you guys.
Go ahead.
Thank you for joining. Please email your questions, inquiries, anything specific to your account over to Member Experience. Our team will be, it's after hours now, but our team will be ready to help you first thing tomorrow morning. Properties, reservations, anything, we're happy to help you.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.